Breathe in and breathe out. Let the world outside your window fade away. Let the sounds of the day become soft and distant, like whispers from another room. Feel the weight of your body, a gentle, pleasant heaviness, as you sink into the soft comfort of your bed. You are safe here. You are warm. You are ready to travel. We are not going to travel with our feet, or on a ship, or even on the wings of a bird. We are going to travel on the soft currents of our breath, back through time. Back before the clocks, before the calendars, before the writing of the first word. We are going to journey to the very beginning of things, to the quiet, dreaming heart of creation. Breathe in and breathe out. Imagine a darkness. Not a scary darkness, but a soft, velvety darkness like a blanket woven from silence and sleep. It is a waiting darkness, a peaceful darkness. In this darkness, there is no up or down, no here or there. There is only potential, a quiet hum of what could be. Every story has a beginning, and the story of everything is the grandest story of all. People all over our sleeping world have wondered about this beginning. They have closed their eyes, just like you are doing now, and they have listened to the quiet, and they have dreamed up stories of how it all began. Tonight we will visit some of those dreams. We will float from one beginning to another, and we will see that while the names and the shapes may change, the wonder is always the same. So let us begin our journey. Let your mind drift, float, and wander. Our first stop is a land of warm sand and a long, winding river, a place we call Egypt. But we are going long before the sand, long before the river. We are going to a time when there was only water. Close your eyes and see it. Not an ocean with waves that crash and roar, but a vast, still, silent body of water called Nu. It stretches forever in every direction, under a sky that is also made of water. It is dark and deep and calm, so very, very calm. The water of Nu is the water of possibility. It holds everything that ever was, and everything that ever will be, all dissolved within its endless, gentle depths. For ages upon ages, nothing moves. There is no sound but the sound of your own quiet breathing, in and out. The stillness is perfect. It is the stillness of a seed before it sprouts, the stillness of a sleeping mind before a dream begins. And then, in the very heart of that infinite silent water, something begins to stir. It is not a big movement, it is a thought. A single, lonely thought awakening in the endless dream of Nu. This thought is Atum. He is not yet a god with a body or a name. He is just awareness, a feeling of I am. Imagine that feeling. Waking up slowly, slowly, from the longest sleep imaginable. Atum feels himself coming into being, gathering himself from the watery essence of everything. He is the first question and the first answer. He thinks, and in thinking he becomes. Slowly, so slowly, a shape begins to form where his thought is strongest. The dark waters of Nu begin to part, not with a splash, but with a gentle, silent rising. A mound of earth, the very first earth, emerges from the water. They called it the Ben. It is the first solid place in all of existence. It is not large, but it is real. It is a place to be. Atum, now with more substance, stands upon this first mound of earth. He is alone in the vast, watery darkness. But he is not lonely. He is full of the potential of Nu, full of the desire to create. He looks out at the endless stillness, and he feels a great love, a great need for companionship, for otherness. He breathes, a long, slow breath, just like yours. And with that breath he brings forth his first children. He sighs out the god of air, whose name is Shu. Imagine that first breath filling the emptiness. A gentle wind that isn't cold or hot, just a soft movement, a whisper in the silent darkness. Shu is the space between things, the air that allows for life. Then Adam clears his throat, a gentle cough, and he spits out the goddess of moisture, whose name is Tefnut. She is the dew on a leaf, the mist that rises from the water, the first gentle rain. She is the wetness that clings to the air, the promise of life-giving water. Shu, the air, and Tefnut, the moisture, drift away from their father Autumn on the Benben stone. They explore the great darkness, hand in hand, a whisper of wind and a veil of mist. For a time, they are lost to him in the vast, dark waters of Nu. Autumn waits on his lonely mound. He waits and he waits. A deep sadness fills him, the first sadness. The sadness of a parent who has lost their children. He has a single eye, an eye that can see everything, and in his desperation, he sends his eye out into the darkness to find them. The eye of Autumn, which is also a goddess, travels out across the waters of Nu. It shines with a gentle, inner light, the very first light cutting through the endless dark. It searches and searches, a tiny beacon in the infinite night. And finally, it finds them. It finds Shu and Tefnut, safe and sound, and it guides them back to their father. When Autumn sees his children returning, his heart fills with a joy so immense, so powerful, that he begins to cry, the very first tears. And as his tears fall upon the dark, fertile earth of the Benben mound, they do not disappear. Each teardrop, filled with his divine joy and love, transforms. Each tear becomes a person, the first men and women, born from the happy tears of their Creator. And so, on that small mound, surrounded by the dark, silent waters of Nu, the first life began, with air to breathe and moisture to drink, and people to share the world. Autumn, now called Ra, the sun god, creates a great boat, and every day he will sail it across the watery sky, bringing light and warmth to his children, and every night he will sail it through the underworld, through the dark waters below, to be reborn again at dawn. Feel the warmth of that first light on your skin, a gentle, golden light. See the world taking shape, the water, the earth, the air, the people, all born from a single thought in a silent, watery dream. It is a gentle beginning, a slow and peaceful awakening. Breathe in the soft air of Shu, and breathe out the gentle mist of Tefnut. Let the world of Egypt fade now, like a dream at sunrise. We are drifting again, floating on the quiet river of night, leaving the land of the pyramids behind. Our breath carries us across sleeping lands and silent seas, to a different kind of water, a different kind of dream. Let us travel to the heart of India, to a story that begins not with a thought, but with a deep, cosmic sleep. Imagine an ocean, not of water, but of milk. A vast, white, luminous ocean that stretches beyond the stars. It is the ocean of consciousness, the ocean of pure being. It churns slowly, gently, its currents swirling with nascent galaxies and unborn suns. And floating upon this endless, pearly ocean is a serpent. A magnificent serpent with 1,000 heads, coiled upon himself like a soft, living island. His name is Ananta Shisha, which means, the one who remains, for he is eternal. His scales shimmer with all the colors of the rainbow, soft and muted in the gentle twilight of the cosmos. And sleeping upon the coils of this great serpent is Vishnu. He is the preserver, the sustainer of the universe. His skin is the color of a deep blue rain cloud. He wears robes of golden silk, and a gentle, peaceful smile rests upon his lips. He is not just sleeping, he is dreaming, and his dream is everything. You and I, the stars and the moon, the mountains and the trees, the past and the future, we are all just a part of Vishnu's magnificent, endless dream. His breath, slow and steady, is the rhythm of the universe, the ebb and flow of time itself. Listen, can you hear it? The slow, steady beat of a cosmic heart. The gentle lapping of the milky ocean against the coils of the serpent Ananta. It is the sound of peace, the sound of perfect balance. In this dream, there is no rush, no worry. There is only being. As Vishnu sleeps, dreaming us all into existence, a desire for creation awakens within the dream. From his navel, a lotus flower begins to grow. Imagine watching it. A slender green stalk rising up, up, up from the dreaming god through the milky waters of the cosmic ocean. It grows for an eternity, reaching for a sky that does not yet exist. And then, at the very top of the stalk, a bud forms. It is closed tightly, holding all the secrets of the universe within its petals. Slowly, over ages and ages, the petals begin to unfurl, one by one. Each petal is more beautiful than the last, shimmering with gold and pink and the soft white of the ocean below. The unfurling is so slow, you can barely see it move, but you can feel it happening. A great and beautiful opening. And when the lotus flower is fully open, sitting in its very center is the god Brahma. He has 4 heads, so that he can see in every direction at once. He awakens, blinking in the soft light of the lotus. He looks around, but he sees nothing but the endless petals of his flower and the vast, empty space. Who am I? He wonders. Where did I come from? He is confused. He is alone. He decides to explore. He climbs down the long, long stalk of the lotus, hoping to find its source. He travels down for 1,000 celestial years, but the stalk seems to have no end. He cannot find the bottom. He cannot find where he came from. Tired and discouraged, he climbs back up to the center of the lotus flower. He sits down and decides to be still, to meditate. He closes his eyes and listens to the silence. He listens for a long, long time. And then he hears a sound, a soft 2-syllable word whispered on the cosmic breeze. Tapa. It means meditate is a shakafaring. It is the voice of the dreaming Vishnu, guiding him from the depths. Brahma understands. He must look not outward, but inward. So Brahma sits in the lotus posture, in the heart of the magnificent flower, and he meditates. He stills his mind. He focuses his thoughts. He meditates for thousands and thousands of years. And as he meditates, his power grows. The power of creation fills him, a gift from the sleeping dreamer, Vishnu. When his meditation is complete, he opens his eyes. He now knows what he must do. He is the creator. He looks at the beautiful petals of the lotus flower that is his home. He takes 3 of them, and from them he creates the 3 worlds, the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. Then, from his mind, he creates the first beings. He thinks of goodness, and wise sages are born. He thinks of darkness, and demons are born. He thinks of the animals, the birds, the fish, the trees, the mountains, the rivers. He creates them all from the power of his thought, from the energy given to him by the dreaming Vishnu. The universe unfolds like the petals of the lotus, a beautiful, complex, and intricate pattern, all dreamed into being by a sleeping god on a cosmic sea. And when this universe has lived its full life, when it grows old and tired, Vishnu will stir in his sleep. He will inhale slowly, and the entire universe, Brahma and all, will be drawn back into him, to rest until he begins a new dream, a new beginning. So feel yourself as part of this dream, a gentle thought and a peaceful mind. You are held safely in this cosmic dream, floating on a milky ocean, under the soft light of 1,000-petaled lotus. There's no need to strive or struggle. You simply are. A perfect part of a perfect dream. Breathe in the scent of the cosmic lotus and breathe out, becoming one with the dream. Let the milky ocean dissolve. Let the great serpent fade into starlight. We are drifting once more, carried on the silent winds of the night. Our journey takes us now to a colder place, a world of mist and frost, of fire and ice. We travel north to the lands of the Vikings, to a time before their mighty ships, before their gods, before anything at all. In the beginning, there was not water, not darkness, not a dream. There was a gap, a great yawning empty space called Ginunga Gap. To the north of this gap lay a realm of ice and fog and bitter cold called Niflheim. Imagine a world of eternal frost. rivers of ice, mountains of snow, and a constant swirling mist that chills you to the bone. It is a place of absolute cold, where nothing can grow, where everything is frozen in a silent white stillness. To the south of the gap lay a realm of fire called Muspelheim. This is a world of pure heat and light. Rivers of lava flow across plains of black rock. Sparks and embers drift through the air like fireflies. It is a place of roaring flames and intense, searing heat, guarded by a giant made of fire. And between these two extremes, between the biting cold and the burning heat, lies the great empty space, Ginnunga Gap. For a long, long time, this is all there is, the cold of Niflheim and the heat of Muspelheim, separated by the vast, silent emptiness. But slowly, so slowly, something begins to happen. The warm air from Muspelheim, carrying sparks and heat, drifts across the gap and meets the cold, frosty air from Niflheim. Imagine a hot breath on a frozen windowpane. Water begins to form. The ice of Niflheim begins to melt, not all at once, but drip by drip by drip. The drops of water fall into the great emptiness of Ginnunga Gap, and as these drops fall, they are touched by the life-giving heat from the south and the shaping cold from the north. They begin to freeze again, but this time, they freeze into a new shape. Drip by drip, for ages and ages, the drops fall and freeze, and a form begins to emerge in the emptiness. A colossal form, larger than any mountain, larger than any giant you could imagine. The first being, the frost giant, Ymir. He is not good or evil. He is simply the beginning. He is made of ice and fire, of meltwater and frost. He sleeps in the vast emptiness, a giant dreaming form. And as he sleeps, he begins to sweat from the warmth of Muspelheim. And from the sweat under his left arm, a man and a woman are born, the first of the frost giants. And from his legs, a six-headed son is born. Ymir is alive, but he is hungry. What can he eat in this empty space? As more ice melts from Niflheim, another creature is formed, a great, cosmic cow named Audumbla. Her breath is warm steam in the cold air. From her udders flow 4 rivers of milk, and this is what the giant Ymir drinks to live. So now there are 2 beings in the Great Gap, the sleeping giant Ymir and the great cow Audumbla. The cow has milk for Ymir, but what does she eat? She looks around and sees great blocks of salty ice that have drifted from Niflheim. She begins to lick the ice. She licks and licks. Her great, warm tongue scrapes against the frost. On the first day that she licks, the hair of a man appears in the ice. On the second day, his head appears. And on the third day, the entire man is freed from the ice. He is tall and beautiful. His name is Bori, and he is the first of the gods. So now we have the giants, born from the sweat of Ymir, and the gods, born from the salty ice. They are different. One born of chaotic, raw elements, the other revealed, formed, and patient. And in this great, empty space between the fire and the ice, the stage is set for a world to be born from their conflict and their union. Buri has a son who marries a daughter of the giants. And they have 3 sons, Odin, the wise one, Vilai, the will, and Ve, the holy one. These 3 brothers, the first of the Aesir gods, look at the giant Ymir, who is growing larger and more chaotic every day. They see that for a true world to be created, a world of order and beauty, the age of giants must end. So they fight him. A terrible battle in the cosmic emptiness. And in the end, they defeat the great frost giant Ymir. From his body they will build our world. This is a powerful beginning, born of opposites, of fire and ice, of heat and cold. Feel the chill of Niflheim on your cheeks and the warmth of Muspelheim at your back. Feel the slow, patient dripping of the melting ice. Drip, 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 the heartbeat of a world waiting to be born. It is a reminder that from the greatest emptiness and the starkest contrasts, life can find a way. Breathe in the cold, misty air and breathe out the warm, fiery breath. Let the world of ice giants and cosmic cows melt away. We are drifting again, leaving the stark, powerful beginning of the Norse lands. The current of sleep carries us southward, to a sun-drenched land of olive trees and a sea so blue it mirrors the sky. We are going to ancient Greece. Here, the beginning is not a thing, not a place, not a being. The beginning is a state. It is chaos. Imagine not darkness, but a jumble, a formless, shapeless, swirling confusion of all the elements. Earth, air, fire, and water, all mixed together in a great, dizzying void. There is no light or dark, no hot or cold, no up or down. It is a state of pure, unorganized potential. A great, cosmic yawn before the world awakens. It is not loud. It is not violent. It is just unsettled, like a glass of water with sand stirred into it before it has had time to settle. And from this chaos, from this great, formless beginning, the first beings emerge, not by fighting, not by thinking, but simply by separating themselves out like oil from water. The first to emerge is Gaia, the Earth. She is not a person yet, but a presence, a wide, solid, and dependable foundation. Imagine the feeling of that. After an eternity of swirling confusion, the feeling of solid ground beneath you, a place to rest. Gaia is the broad-chested one, the mother of all. She is the fertile soil, the rolling hills, the deep caves. She is stability, she is home. After Gaia comes Tartarus. He emerges in the depths, far below her. He is the pit, the deep, dark, mysterious underworld, a place of endings, a necessary shadow to Gaia's light. And then, the most powerful of all emerges from the chaos. Eros. Love. He is not the chubby baby with a bow and arrow, but a primeval force. He is the force of attraction, the desire that brings things together. He is the reason the world will not remain empty. He is the creative impulse, the power that will drive the universe to create life and beauty. So now we have a foundation, Gaia, a deep place, Tartarus, and the force of attraction, Eros. The chaos also gives birth to two more beings, Erebus, the darkness of the underworld, and Nyx, the night. And from the love between darkness and night, two more are born, Ether, the bright, pure upper air, and Hemera, the day. So slowly the world is becoming organized. Night is separate from day. The bright air of the heavens is separate from the darkness of the underworld. Gaia, the great Earth Mother, lies still and vast. She is all alone, with no one to see her beauty. She longs for companionship, for someone to cover her, to be her equal. And so, without a partner, she gives birth to a son who will be her equal in every way. Uranos, the sky. He rises up from her, a great starry dome of blue. He is vast and beautiful, and he covers her completely. He looks down on her with love, and he rains down upon her. And from this union, from the rain of the sky falling upon the earth, the first life begins to grow, the grass, the flowers, the trees. Gaia adorns herself with life, all for the love of the sky above her. They are the first couple, the earth below and the sky above, and they have many children. First, they have the 12 Titans, powerful gods and goddesses who are beautiful and strong. Then they have the 3 Cyclopes, giant craftsmen with a single eye in the middle of their foreheads. And finally, they have the 3 Hecatoncheires, the 100-handed ones, beings of immense and terrifying power. Uranos, the sky, looks at his children, the Cyclopes and the 100-handers, and he is afraid of their strength. He thinks they are monstrous. So he takes them and he pushes them back into the body of their mother, Gaia, hiding them away in the deep, dark places of the earth. This causes Gaia great pain. The loving mother cannot bear to have her children imprisoned within her. Her heart fills with sorrow and anger. She creates a new metal, a hard gray flint, and from it she fashions a great sickle, a curved blade. She gathers her other children, the Titans, and she speaks to them. "Your father has shamed us," she says. "He has hidden your brothers away out of fear. Who among you is brave enough to stand up to him and end this cruelty?" The Titans are all afraid of their powerful father, the sky. All except one, the youngest, Cronus, who is clever and ambitious. He steps forward. "I will do it, mother," he says. And so, the stage is set for another great change. For the children to rise up against the father, for a new order to be created. The world is still young, still forming. It is a family drama played out on a cosmic scale. But let us stay here for a moment, in the beginning, in the quiet peace before the conflict. Picture Gaia, the wide earth, breathing slowly. Feel her solidity. Look up at Uranus, the starry sky, a glittering blanket stretching from horizon to horizon. See the love between them, the rain that brings life. This beginning is about relationships, about separation and coming together, about the fundamental forces of earth, sky, and love, slowly, patiently, bringing a world of beauty and passion into being. Breathe in the smell of the damp earth after a rain, and breathe out, releasing all your cares into the vast, starry sky. The Greek Isles fade, the blue sea turns to a sea of stars, and we drift on. Our journey is not over. We are floating now, across a vast ocean, to a continent that feels ancient and new at the same time. We are going to the Pacific Northwest, to the home of the Haida people, a land of tall green trees and misty shores. In this beginning, the world is already here. The earth, the sea, the rocks, they exist. But it is a world of absolute, complete, and total darkness. Not the soft, waiting darkness of Egypt, but a thick, impenetrable darkness. A darkness that swallows all sound and all sight. And in this dark world, there lived the first people. But they were not happy. They stumbled around in the dark, bumping into trees and each other. They were always cold. And they were always hungry because it was so hard to find food. But there was one being in this darkness who was not like the others. He was clever and curious, and his feathers were the color of the night, but with a secret sheen of rainbow oil within them. He was Raven. Raven was not a god. He was not a creator. He was a trickster, a transformer. He was tired of the darkness. He was tired of bumping into things. And most of all, he was bored. He heard stories, whispers in the dark, of a time before, a time when there was something called light. The old one said that all the light in the universe was kept hidden away by a selfish old chief who lived in a great lodge by the river. This chief had a daughter whom he loved very much, and he had a treasure which he loved even more. It was a box, and inside that box was another box, and inside that box was another, and so on, a whole series of nested boxes. And in the very last, smallest box was all the light in the universe. A great, shining ball of light. The sun, the chief kept it for himself. He liked the darkness. He didn't want to share. Raven decided this would not do. He wanted to see this light. He wanted to play with it. And he wanted to bring it to the world. So he made a plan. A very clever plan. He flew silently through the blackness to the place where the chief's lodge stood. He waited, perched in a tall pine tree that grew above the spring where the chief's daughter came every day to get water. He waited patiently, his dark eyes watching the darkness. When the chief's daughter came to the spring with her water basket, Raven transformed himself. He changed his shape from a great black bird into a single, tiny, perfect pine needle. He floated down from the tree and landed gently in the water of her basket. The daughter did not see the tiny pine needle. She dipped her basket in the spring, filled it with clear, cold water, and went back inside the lodge. She was thirsty, so she lifted the basket to her lips and drank. And she swallowed the pine needle. The pine needle that was Raven traveled down into her belly. And there, he transformed again. He became a tiny, growing baby. The chief's daughter was pregnant, and no one knew how. In time, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. He had dark, shiny hair and bright, intelligent eyes that seemed to see everything. Of course, this was Raven in disguise. The old chief was overjoyed. He adored his new grandson. He would do anything for him. The baby, Raven, was clever. He learned to crawl and he explored every corner of the dark lodge. He saw the great wooden box sitting in the corner, the one that held the light. And so he began to cry. He cried and cried and cried. He wouldn't stop. The whole lodge was filled with the sound of his wailing. The old chief was frantic. "What does he want?" he cried. "Give him anything he wants." The baby's mother tried to comfort him. She gave him toys, she gave him food, but he just pointed his little finger at the big box in the corner and wailed, "Goo goo ball!" His mother said, "He wants the box, father." The chief was horrified. "No, not that! Anything but that!" But the baby just cried louder. His cries echoed in the dark. Finally, the chief couldn't stand it anymore. His love for his grandson was too strong. "Oh, very well," he grumbled. "Give him the outermost box to play with." But just for a moment, they gave the baby the largest box. He stopped crying immediately. He pushed it around on the floor, gurgling happily. He played with it for a while, and then he grew bored. He pushed it away and started crying again, louder than before. He pointed at the box inside the first box. "Ball! Ball!" he screamed. The chief sighed a great deep sigh. "Give it to him," he said, his voice full of doom. And so it went. They gave him the second box, and he played with it, then cried for the third. And the third, and then the fourth. Each time, the chief resisted, and each time, the baby's cries won him over. Finally, they were down to the very last box. It was small and intricately carved, and it glowed with a faint, warm light that leaked through the cracks. The baby reached for it with his chubby hands, his eyes wide with wonder. The chief, his heart breaking, finally gave in. "Let him have it," he whispered. The baby took the final box. He held it in his hands, and then, in a flash, he transformed. He was no longer a baby. He was Raven, the great black bird, holding the shining ball of light in his beak. With a powerful beat of his wings, he shot up through the smoke hole of the lodge and out into the dark world. The chief and his daughter could only stare in shock. Raven flew high into the sky, clutching his precious treasure. The people below heard a new sound, a great caw, caw of triumph. They looked up in the direction of the sound, and then Raven, with a mighty toss of his head, flung the ball of light up into the sky. It was the sun. For the first time, the world was filled with light. It was not a gentle dawn. It was a sudden, brilliant, glorious burst of light. The people were so shocked, they were frightened. They ran and hid in the forests, in the caves, under the rocks. This is why the story says, so many animals live in the woods and underground. But Raven had brought the light. The world was no longer dark and cold. You could see the green of the trees, the blue of the sea, the colors of the flowers. You could see the faces of your friends. And though it was a startling beginning, a trick played on a selfish chief, it was the beginning of the world as we know it, a world of light and shadow, of color and form. Feel the sudden warmth of that first sun on your face. See the world burst into color. It is a joyful, noisy, and clever beginning. A reminder that sometimes great change comes not from slow, divine creation, but from a spark of mischief and a deep desire for things to be better. Breathe in the bright, clear air of the first day, and breathe out, letting the brilliant light soften into a gentle glow. The tall pines of the Haida Gwaii fade, and the trickster raven's call becomes a distant echo. We are drifting again, across the great Pacific Ocean this time, to a vast red land under a brilliant blue sky. We are going to Australia, to the time of creation the Aboriginal people call the Dreamtime. This beginning is different from all the others. In the Dreamtime, the world did not come from nothing. It was already there, but it was sleeping. It was a flat, silent, featureless plain. There were no mountains, no rivers, no trees, no animals. The potential for all these things was there, but it was locked away, deep beneath the surface of the earth. And deep beneath the surface, the ancestor spirits were sleeping too. They were great, powerful beings, part animal, part human, part spirit. They had been sleeping for an eternity. And then, for no reason that can be explained, they began to wake up. Imagine that. But first stirring, deep in the warm earth, the rainbow serpent, coiled asleep under the ground, shifts its magnificent, iridescent scales. The kangaroo ancestor twitches a powerful leg. The emu ancestor opens a sleepy eye. One by one, they woke up. And they broke through the crust of the earth and emerged onto the flat, silent surface. The world was dark and still. The ancestors looked around, and they felt a great creative energy surge through them, and so they began to walk. And as they walked, they began to sing. This is the most important part of this beginning. The world was not made. It was sung into existence. The rainbow serpent began to move across the land. Where its powerful body dragged along the ground, it carved out deep channels. And then it called for water, and the channels filled, becoming the first rivers. It twisted and turned, and its body heaved up the earth, creating mountains and valleys. The kangaroo ancestor began to travel, and everywhere its great feet thumped upon the ground, a waterhole appeared. The lizard ancestor crawled over the rocks, and the patterns on its back were imprinted on the stone. And all the while, they were singing. Their songs were the songs of creation. Each note, each verse was a creative act. They sang the trees, and the trees grew. They sang the birds, and the birds took flight. They sang the fish, and the fish filled the rivers. They sang the names of everything, and in singing their names they brought them into being. The world was filled with sound, with vibration, with music. The rhythm of their songs became the rhythm of the seasons. The melody became the shape of the land. The lyrics were the laws that all of life should follow, how to live in harmony with the land and with each other. They walked all across the continent on journeys that people now call song lines or dreaming tracks. You can still travel these paths today, and the elders can sing the songs that describe every rock, every tree, every waterhole along the way. The story of creation is written into the land itself. The ancestors taught the first people, who were also born from the earth, how to live. They taught them the ceremonies, the dances, and the songs. They taught them which plants to eat, how to hunt, and how to care for the land. And when their work was done, when the world was vibrant and full of life, the ancestors grew tired. Their creative energy was spent, and so they returned to the earth. Some of them went back to sleep under the ground. Some transformed into rocks or trees or water holes, their spirits forever tied to the places they had created. But they did not disappear. Their spirit, their creative energy is still there. It is in the land, in the animals, in the people. And when people perform the ceremonies, when they sing the songs and dance the dances, they are tapping into that original creative power. They are helping to keep the world alive, to continue the work of the Dreamtime. This beginning is not something that happened once and was finished. The Dreamtime is eternal. It is the past, the present, and the future all at once. It is a constant process of creation, a story that is always being sung. Feel the vibration of that first song in your bones. Feel the rhythm of the earth's heartbeat. See the world being painted with sound and music. It is a beginning that is alive, a creation that never ends. It reminds us that we are all a part of the song, and the land itself is the greatest story of all. Breathe in the ancient dust of the red earth and breathe out a note of your own quiet song. The sound of the didgeridoo fades into the whisper of the wind, and we are floating once more. Our journey takes us across the sea again, to a chain of islands born of fire and water. We are going to Japan. Here, the beginning starts in a high, heavenly plain, a place of serene beauty and calm order called Takamagahara. In this celestial realm lived the first generations of gods, who came into being silently and mysteriously. But the world below was not yet formed. It was a formless, chaotic mass, like thick, swirling oil or a murky soup, drifting aimlessly. There was no land, only a vast primordial ocean of brine. The elder gods of the heavenly plane looked down at this chaos and decided that it was time to bring order to it. They summoned a young divine couple, a brother and a sister. His name was Izanagi, which means he who invites, Mindaum. Her name was Izanami, which means she who invites. They stood them upon the Ama no Ukihashi, the floating bridge of heaven, which stretched like a rainbow between the celestial plane and the unformed world below. And they gave them a task. And they gave them a tool. The tool was a magnificent spear, decorated with precious jewels. It was called the Ame no Nuboko, the heavenly jeweled spear. Izanagi and Izanami stood together on the bridge, looking down at the swirling, murky chaos. It was a daunting sight, but they were filled with divine purpose. Izanagi took the jeweled spear. He dipped its tip down into the thick, soupy ocean. Then, together, he and Izanami began to stir. They stirred and they stirred, churning the primordial sea. The sound was like a great, slow mixing koboro koboro men, a sound of creation. They stirred and they stirred, and when they felt that the mixture was becoming thicker, they lifted the spear out of the chaos. As they lifted it, drops of the thick, salty brine fell from its jeweled tip. Plop, plop, plop. The drops fell back down into the ocean, but they did not dissolve. They solidified. They coagulated. And they formed the very first island. It was called Onogoro, the Formop, self-forming Salistarmop Island. It was the first solid ground in the world, a place for them to stand. Izanagi and Izanami were pleased. They left the floating bridge of heaven and descended to this new island. It was a beautiful, pristine place, a single point of order in a world of chaos. They decided to make this island their home, and they decided that they should become husband and wife and populate this world with more islands and with gods. So they built a tall, sacred pillar on the island, a pillar to connect the earth and the heavens. And they began a courtship ritual. Izanagi was to walk around the pillar in one direction, and Izanami was to walk in the other. When they met on the far side, they would speak, and their union would be consecrated. They began their walk. They met on the other side, and Izanami, filled with joy at seeing her handsome brother, spoke first. "Oh," she said, "what a fine and handsome man." Izanagi was a little displeased that she had spoken first, as he felt it was the man's place to do so, but he replied, "Oh, what a fine and beautiful woman." And so they were married. And soon they had their first child. But the child was not well formed. It was a weak, boneless creature like a leech. They were heartbroken. They put the leech child in a boat made of reeds and set it adrift on the ocean. Their second child was also imperfect. They did not understand what they had done wrong. Saddened, they returned to the heavenly plane to ask the elder gods for advice. The elder gods consulted the oracles, and then they told them, "It is because the woman spoke first during your ritual. That is not the proper order. Go back and perform the ritual again, and this time let the man speak first." So Izanagi and Izanami returned to the island of Onogoro. Once again they stood on opposite sides of the sacred pillar. Once again they began to walk. They met on the other side. This time Izanagi spoke first. "Oh," he said, "what a fine and beautiful woman." And Izanami replied, "Oh, what a fine and handsome man." The ritual was now correct. The proper order was established. And this time, when they had children, they were perfect and beautiful. First, they gave birth to the other islands of Japan. One by one, they brought them forth, creating the beautiful archipelago. Then they gave birth to the gods who would inhabit these islands. The god of the sea, the god of the wind, the god of the mountains, the god of the trees, the god of the fields. They created a whole pantheon of spirits, the kami, to live in and animate every part of the natural world. This beginning is about order, about finding the right way to do things. It is about the careful, deliberate process of separating land from water, of establishing rituals, of creating a world that is balanced and harmonious. It is a gentle, patient creation, born from the stirring of a jeweled spear and the correct expression of love. Feel the gentle rocking of the floating bridge of heaven. Hear the slow, churning sound of the primordial ocean. Koworo koworo, non stus. See the first drop of land falling from the spear, a promise of the world to come. It is a beginning that values balance, partnership, and the beauty of getting things just right. Breathe in the salty air of that first island and breathe out, feeling the perfect harmony of the world falling into place. The islands of Japan fade into the mist, the jeweled sphere dissolves into a constellation. Our journey of beginnings is coming to a close. We have traveled so far tonight, on the quiet wings of our imagination. We have stood on the first mound of earth rising from the dark waters of Nu in Egypt. We have floated in the cosmic dream of Vishnu, a thought in a sleeping god's mind. We have felt the chill of Niflheim and the heat of Muspelheim and watched a world be born of fire and ice. We have witnessed the great earth, Gaia, emerge from chaos and watched her fall in love with the sky, Aranos. We have seen the world burst into color, with the light stolen by the clever raven. We have heard the world sung into existence by the ancestor spirits in the Dreamtime. And we have watched a divine couple stir the ocean with a jeweled spear to create the first land. So many beginnings, so many different stories. The names change, the places change, the methods change. Some are slow and quiet, like a seed sprouting. Some are loud and sudden, like a trick being played. Some are born of thought, some of dream, some of song, some of love. But did you notice the threads that connect them all? In almost every story, we began in a state of quiet, formless potential. A silent water, a yawning gap, a swirling chaos, a sleeping land. A world waiting. And in every story there was a force that brought order to that chaos. A thought, a dream, a song, a ritual. A desire for the world to be more than just an empty space. A desire for life, for light, for companionship. These stories are the dreams of our ancestors. They are lullabies sung to humanity, to soothe our fears of the dark, to answer the great question of, where did we come from? Dream apau ayam do ayamas bas. They are poems written to the universe. And they remind us that the act of creation is not something that happened only once long ago. It is happening right now. Every time a new day dawns, it is the first day. Every time a flower opens, it is the first flower. Every breath you take is a new beginning. You, too, are a creator. Your dreams are the seeds of new worlds. Your thoughts can bring order to your own chaos. Your quiet song can bring beauty into the world. So now, let the stories fade. Let them mingle and merge into a single beautiful dream of beginnings. Let the waters of Nu, the milky ocean of Vishnu, and the brine of Japan become one peaceful sea. Let the light of the sun god Ra, the light stolen by Raven, and the light of the first day in Greece become a single, soft glow behind your closed eyelids. The journey is over. It is time to rest. It is time to sink into the deep, quiet, creative darkness from which all things come. The darkness that is not empty, but full of potential. The darkness of deep, healing, and peaceful sleep. Breathe in the wonder of it all. And breathe out, and let go. Breathe in, peace. And breathe out, and rest. The world is quiet now. The stories have been told. The universe is dreaming, and you are a part of its dream. Sleep now. Sleep deeply, and may your own dreams be full of gentle, beautiful beginnings. Sleep, sleep, sleep.